Hi, everyone, and welcome to another lovely Let's Talk series. Today, we're going to be talking about event experience, and we have some lovely volunteers with us. First off, I want to say happy Volunteer Appreciation Week, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. So, I know we're pulling up there we go. We got the PowerPoint started, and I know Heidi's going to kick us off, and we're going to get started.
Are we recording?
Taylor, are we recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Okay. All right. Well, a really big welcome to everyone. Thank you, Roxanne. We're excited to have so many of you on the call tonight. So I'm not going to talk much because we have a lot of volunteers who want to share ideas and figure out how we can have our best experiences ever. So what we're going to do is kind of talk about relay, that we have our 4 signature elements to be called a relay. You need to have your celebration of survivors, celebration of caregivers, a meaningful luminaria, and the opportunity to fight back. So those 4 signatures all need to be in there. And you'll be able to get a copy of all these slides later. So don't feel like you have to be taking a ton of notes. We want you to know those are important, but there are also other things that are going to make your event really special. If you have a celebration of survivors and caregivers in the meaningful luminaria and the opportunity to fight back, but you don't have anywhere for anybody to go to the bathroom, that is not a good thing. So we have to remember all those little bits that will also make it a great experience. So you need a safe place to do it. You need to make sure you have bathrooms. You need to make sure you have lighting, you have safe parking. So all of those things are important. So just kind of remember the things in the back of your mind. If you go someplace, what might have irritated you? Like if you went somewhere and there weren't enough bathrooms, or you went somewhere and the parking lot was really hard to navigate. So think about those things. So we're going to get into some of those and your local flair that will make it special to your area, which is the beauty of our UES events, is we get to make sure we're doing it how it fits in our community. And we have lots of people to share ideas with. And we're going to get started with Kristen Ostrowski. I hope I didn't ruin your name. And you relay with Naugatuck Valley.
She's trying to get on. She's trying to get on.
That's all right. We all understand how that works. We totally get that. So while she's doing that, start thinking of your questions that you might have for people, or if you have ideas to share of amazing things that you do at your local events that kind of highlight what goes on in your county or in your city or your area. Because these calls only work when we all share our ideas. And the last few that we've had have had a lot of great sharing. She having any luck? Or do we want to move on and go to the next?
Well, I just brought her in, so give her a second. Kristen, are you there?
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, great, cool.
You're on.
Yeah. All right, awesome. I wasn't sure exactly what you wanted me to talk about first, or what you guys had already talked about.
We just introduced that we're talking about event experience and what makes things great with your event. So, what kinds of things do you do that make it a really fun, meaningful event?
Sure. So I've been running the Naugatuck Valley's Relay for Life for the past 15 years. It was originally, so I've been doing it since I was 17 years old. We actually have a We Remember tent, which is, nobody has it to my knowledge. We found that we have a caregiver ceremony. We have Luminaria that celebrates, fights back, and remembers everybody. We have a survivor caregiver luncheon, just like everybody, but there was nothing for those that actually have passed for them to have their own ceremony. So I implemented the We Remember ceremony last year, actually, right after COVID, to try to bring the event back. So we have a tent that's enclosed on 3 sides, and I created a stand. It's pretty cool, and it sits on a table. We fill it up with glass rocks, and we have tea light candles, a few chairs in there, and people write their loved ones' names on it, on the candles. light them up, and then keep them in the like little sandbox area. And then, so this year we're kind of doing we're doing like new tea lights for anybody who wants to. And then we'll have the, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like the ones from last year, we still have them, and we'll put them on another like cupcake stand to remember. And then we have a little quick ceremony, but everybody loved that from last year. We have a garden of hope at our event as well. There's hope letters that are probably about, I'd say 12 feet high, that we had a volunteer make, and they light up. They're beautiful. And we have a hope garden that's located in front of it. And we have it's after the caregiver ceremony. We have everybody line up right in front of the stage, right to the left of the stage. They grab rose petals from our committee members, and then they toss them into the water bowls to honor and remember those they have or have had or still have that have had this disease. We also do an honorary survivor every single year and an honorary caregiver. It's announced and surprised to the individual during opening ceremony. We do a small speech. I coordinate with their families because I know all of our teams. That's what I really pride myself in doing, is getting to know your people. They get a plaque, we give them a little bag, and they start the first lap as honorary survivor. The honorary caregivers, same thing, small speech. We have the families there, we give them a plaque, and then they start the second lap with a caregiver lap. We also, I don't know if it's frowned upon, but I started seeing a decrease in attendance for the Relay for Life, at least for our event. So I don't like that, obviously. Everybody's been affected by cancer. So I came to the conclusion that we needed to change the name of the event to the public to get them there. So we name our event the Summer Festival, because people will come if there is entertainment, and it's free for families. They'll come if there's food trucks and vendors, but they won't come if it's a Relay for Life event, right? For a good cause. So once they're there, I have vendors. I have about 49 vendors, 50 this year, that are actually interlocked with the teams surrounding our track. So it's a huge track. And so when these people are coming in, they're actually mingling with teams, and they have no idea that they're doing that. And our theme never changes. I used to theme every year, and then I'm like, wait, we got to stop theming, because when they get there, they have to just see purple, because the question is going to be, why is it purple? What does that mean? You know, why do you relay is what our theme is every single year. So they have pictures of their loved ones. They have cancer facts, or they decorate their tent with the cancer color for their loved one. So it is actually really cool. And we've gotten the attendance has changed drastically since we changed to the Summer Festival. It's a hit. And then we're hoping that they stay for a while, right? So we keep entertainment going we used to do overnights, but now we're doing 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. after COVID right now. So people stay, and as they stay, right, we're having ceremonies. So they're hearing what this event is. And we've actually increased our event by 4 new teams this year who just participated last year. Random people from the public, because I sit down with each team captain as they come in, and I get to know them and get to know their story. Just let me know if you guys want me to stop. We just have a lot to share from the Naugatuck Valley. It's come a long way. We dedicate the event each year to a new person that we've lost, either in the community or from our event. And again, we do that at opening ceremony. We give them a plaque. We have a family. We have a moment of silence. And it's just a way to let them know that you're not forgotten, that we are a Relay for Life family. I really pride ourselves in that too. Once you're in our event, you stay in our event as a family. We do certificates for teams, right? You're acknowledging them. They need to be acknowledged, or they will not come back. They need to be thanked, right? Even though we're all volunteering our time, they do need to be thanked. And a certificate is such an easy thing that you can do, that you can print out. If you don't even have a printer at your house, do it at a library, right? So we do first years, 5, 10, 15, and so on. We're actually hitting our 28th year this year. Again, we have vendors. We charge them a fee of $50. And then that $50 actually goes to myself, because I coordinate the vendors, and goes to my team. So it's a fundraising event for myself as well. And they're aware of it as too. We have food trucks and their fee $75. Again, goes right to myself and my team. We have a Touch a Truck event, which we have about 20 different vehicles on the fields, and they stay from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So they're there a great portion of the day and everything is donated. We do survivor and caregiver bags that at our survivor caregiver luncheon. So a lot of people say, well, we don't have funds. Yeah, neither do we. So we have to think outside of the box. So this year, instead of us putting our money into it, because anybody who does this event for a long time, we know how much money that we as a committee put into the events. So we decided that we're going to go to Stop and Shops, into Walmarts, and we're going to raise funds. Meanwhile, also letting them know where their funds are going to. And those funds are going towards the event in one way or another. And they're going for our survivor and caregivers. And people are more than happy. They know it's not going right to ACS. It's going to our survivors and caregivers. We have a finance committee. They keep track of everything. And then those gifts are then given to the survivors and caregivers for the luncheon. We have a Hope barbecue with our committee members. They create a list of projects that they propose to me that they want completed with help. Committee members come together. We have ours this Sunday, actually. It's a potluck, and then we complete all the projects that need to be done so they never feel that it's all on them, because everybody has their own lives. And then again, this is volunteer. So I try to keep everybody together as a family and never to feel alone. We do a Luminaria slideshow during Luminaria, which I've had going now for probably 12 years of pictures, and I keep just adding to it. You can send me one picture, you can send me 12 pictures, but they will all be in there. Our Luminaria slideshow right now is about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and people sit there and they will watch it the entire time. It's beautiful, and we have music playing along to it as well. We do a canned food drive during Luminaria as well. We used to put sand in, and then we used to put the little tea lights, we used to light them up. Well, that had to stop because it becomes a mess and it's a lot of cleanup. So we have a team each year come up with a place to donate the canned foods. They are then responsible for it. So it's not on the committee, it's on the actual team. So this year it's going to, I forget what shelter it's going to this year, but at the end of the event, they'll pick up the canned goods and then they'll bring them and donate them. They take a picture, we post it to social media to let people know where their canned goods are going. So it's always just being communicative, I guess, in the correct way to the public so they know. I'm almost done, I promise. Luminarias, we used to do them A through Z. It used to be a lot of work, right? And then so instead of now doing it alphabetically, I wanted to make sure the teams were able to see their luminarias at all times, because some people might not be able to walk. So it's not fair to them to not be able to see their loved ones. So I do an announcement. They keep their luminarias at their tents. I make an announcement that it's time to put out your luminarias. They put them out on the other side of the tent for the interior of the track. And then they put their glow sticks in and they crack them. So they're doing that. So our Luminaria committee is not even doing it anymore, which is fantastic. Our Luminaria committee is now only worried about the ceremony itself and then putting the online luminarias out in front of the stage. And that's announced as well. So if they don't have somebody, if they don't have a tent, that's where yours is going to be. Or if they purchase it online, that's where it's going to be in front of the stage. And we do a Wrappin' Wagon workshop. So it's a Christmas fundraiser. We actually had a trailer donated to us for the past 2 Christmases. And we're little elves and we go to people's houses. They bring their gifts out to us. We wrap them up. And it's funds that we then raise for the event as well for our committee. It's to stay in the holiday spirit too, because as we all know, times get a little tough, especially with us just having personal lives. We all are affected by cancer in one way or another. So we just try to bring up the spirit. And that's all I have for, I know it was a lot, I'm sorry. But those are our ideas that we do every single year.
I'm really impressed.
Thanks. Thanks.
That is amazing. That is awesome. Wow. I have lots of ideas.
Awesome. Thanks. Sorry, guys. I know I took up a lot of time, but
No,
I just
you
want
did
to
not.
share that with you guys, because I know a lot of people, either this is your first year, or you've only been doing it for a few years and people get so caught up, but I just wanted to share that. I mean, 15 years is a long time, and being, I was only 17, we've grown so much with the help of the committee. It's never just one person. So.
Very good. All right. I'm sure we'll circle back to you because I'm sure people are going to want to say some things. So next we're going to have Stephanie Ragani, Relay for Life of Marin County.
Hi. First, Kristen, I have to say that your event sounds absolutely amazing. So everybody should go to your event.
I know.
It's incredible. Sharon asked me to speak on basically on the basics that I feel we need to have no matter what for our event to be successful. And so I like to start advertising as soon as possible, getting the word out to people, the community, our past relayers, but also to the community. And also many of our businesses and stuff that we ask for donations require a date. Obviously you have to give them a date of the event, and sometimes they have a time frame, maybe 3, 4, 6 months ahead of time you have to tell them. So getting your date right off the bat is crucial as far as I'm concerned. Now I know some areas have like built-in locations, and you get to use that location every single year and it's not an issue. That's not necessarily the case for us. For the way our relay looks, the best spots for us are school fields, and there's some of those fields that are better than other fields. And so to me, it's as soon as we decide on a date, securing our venue is a priority. Got to make sure we have a spot. We can't have our relay if we don't have a spot. So we have to have our spot. And then we can move. We can't really confirm anything else until we confirm our location. Then once we have our venue set, then I work on securing the basic services that we need. Heidi, you had touched on this. If you need portable toilets, if you need rental items, if you need tables and chairs, and fortunately we get most of that donated, but a lot of events do. We used to need those kind of things. So we get rental items, whatever other services, if you need food trucks, if you need vendor, whatever kind of things you need that have to make your relay go, then those are the types of things that I secure then. I want to make sure everything we need is available on that date before we move forward, because otherwise it just throws a wrench in the works and we have to start all over again. Another priority for us here is we have a local Boy Scout troop that helps us every year, and they help us from setup to tear down and absolutely everything else in between. I honestly don't know that we could put on this event without this troop. So that's also a priority for me. Okay, this is the date. Can you guys be there? It's in the middle of the summer and a lot of times people travel. So I get a commitment from them early on that they're going to be with us, because it's crucial. I mean, it's from everything from setting up, tearing up, bringing water around, setting up luminaries. They absolutely do everything for us. So I need to make sure they're available. And, because a lot of times people say, oh, I'll be there. I'll help set up. I'll help tear down. And then they don't show up for whatever reason. These Boy Scouts never let us down. They're always there. So for us in our area, that's a huge piece for our relay. And though we can start planning what our event is going to look like, but until we have these things nailed down that we know we have, and you can only go so far forward until you've got your stuff. Then the most important thing we need at our event, besides the Boy Scouts, is people. We need people to come. So now that we have a date and we have a time and a location, we have to work on attendees. So we update the website with the current information. We start recruiting previous teams, new teams. A notification goes out to past participants and to the public. And then we get a flyer done and we start hanging those up. So, and I honestly don't think it's ever too soon to start getting out there, getting our name out there, and letting people know who we are and what we do. We also will get a booth at community events and hand out information, so we can kind of grab people that way as well. So we like to keep, as every relay, we need to keep the people engaged. You want them to stick around, you want them to stay there. So securing our food, entertainment, activities, that's a vital part of every event. I think if nothing's going on, people are going to leave. So you want something going on all the time. And I encourage teams to provide a fundraising activity on the track. Some of them maybe it won't be fundraising, but it'll be something. I think the more things people do around the track, the more engaged they're going to be. We have added a vendor area. So we have crafters and vendors. And so one time we had Christmas in July and Santa was sitting there the kids could come and see Santa in the middle of July and he's there in his Hawaiian shirt. So just different kind of booths. I'm trying to have a massage tent this year. I'm hoping I get somebody to volunteer their time. The more things they find going around the track, the longer they're going to stay and the more engaged you're going to keep them. The rest of the planning then once we have all these things set, the rest of the planning can then move forward and we can bring in new things. We can bring in new ideas as long as we know where we're going to be, when we're going to be there, and we're going to have bathrooms because that's really important. That's pretty much all I had, except Kristen said something that made me think about something we do. She mentioned having the way they do the luminarias, they want them near the teams for those that maybe can't walk the track. We added something a few years ago that we call Rock the Track. And we're on a grass area, but we have plywood down. So it makes like a wooden floor and there's an easy up over that. And then we have a couple of rocking chairs. So those people who can't actually walk the track can rock the track. And those chairs are busy a really good portion of the day. We had one couple last year that was out walking the track actually with their walkers. I have pictures of them. I mean, it was adorable. But more often than that, people would sit in these chairs and it gives them an opportunity to do that. It's been really, and we tell them, you can rock here, you can do it, you can still get lap beads. This counts. So I just wanted to add that in because it's really become kind of a fun thing we do and people really appreciate it. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
That's a lot. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Lots of good ideas and lots of ways to get people involved.
Thank you.
So now it looks like we're going to Rhonda. Is it Chapman?
Yes,
Chapman
ma'am.
from Relay USA.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Great to see everybody. So I was kind of thinking in terms when I prepped for the call, terms of generic things. So like mentioned earlier, everybody on the call may not be very experienced or may be very experienced. And it's a good reminder for all of us, big picture thinking of everything. So I like to think in terms for the event itself. Like, what's the impression that your participants get from beginning to end? Your participants, people that just stopped by because they saw something going on. How did they get the spirit and the feel of the event? It's hard to describe relay events as it is a lot of ACS events, right? Because there's so much about the feel of it. And that impression is online, it's in person. We just talked about location. You can't do anything till you have a location because the date even is dependent on location availability. But, is it outdoor? Is it indoor? And again, what does that facility offer? Are there restrooms? Are there tables and chairs? Is there a stage provided? All of that, of course, keeps our costs down too, but it makes it easier for your ELT, especially if you've got a small group that's putting an event on. To make it all happen. Directional signs, of course. When someone stands somewhere, they're going to know where the restrooms are. Did they get the information from your website or social media on what your address is? If you're at a large facility, can they tell when they drive up where to go? So college campuses, for example, I've gone to a few events that I get there and I'm like, okay, I'm here, now what? And you can't tell where you're supposed to go. So, just keeping it in mind that you could have out of towners, you could have someone that when you say, hey, go to the such and such building on the campus, somebody doesn't necessarily know where that is. But, is the signage available or visible from everywhere? The registration, survivors and caregivers, luminarias, where are the restrooms? Do you have first aid set up? All of those kinds of things. One of the things I like to think in terms of for location specifically is for ease of access. So, we have a considerable number of survivors that aren't necessarily, we'll say, young in spirit or maybe young in age. They are young in spirit, maybe not young in age. Ease of access for them, you know, do you have a little area that's easy for them to get to? Makes it easier for them to participate, because if it's difficult for them, you can't blame them. They wouldn't want to come back. I'm loving the Rock the Track, and I'm probably going to do that. Another thing, of course, the impression for the event itself, the branding. What your signs, your banners, have you branded everything online and in person? Did want to mention, of course, for the new logo and new branding, of course, that stuff you're going to replace it only when it's needed, not replace it, change it out all at once. But again, brand. There's so many options for us available to make it easy to do that. Of course, depending on your location, you have to figure out how that works, right? It's the same thing you could do at a high school track, might not be the same thing you do at a community center. But, you know, think in terms of the details. Are the restrooms clean? Has the trash been picked up? Is the facility itself clean? Sorry, the dog's having a little fit next to me. Is it secure, safe, and well lit? Of course, for the events that do go late into the evening, you know, you can't just have a dark area, especially in today's times. Of course, that also goes into additional security, local police departments checking by during the event. Typically, they won't mind doing that. But I think that was all I had. Just for myself, remind me too, is, you know, that the experience that people have when they're there, make sure it's good so they want to come back.
Thank you, Rhonda. Which event do you relay with?
So Relay USA, I am, my local event is Southeast Harris County in the Houston area. We have not restarted since COVID.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say, because I'm on the ELT for Relay USA and your name didn't sound familiar. Have you registered yet?
Not for this year yet.
Okay. That explains why I couldn't find you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be looking forward to seeing you.
Maybe online. We'll see.
All right, now we're going to extra elements. And we're going to have Amber Thornton with Relay for Life of Yuma County.
So Amber actually just had a work obligation, so I'm going to be speaking for her. She gave me some talking points, and so I'm her staff partner. And so Relay for Life of Yuma County actually just had their relay in March of this year. And so what's really exciting about Yuma is their relay has about a little over 2,000 people who attend their relay and a little over 200 survivors who have attended this year. And so what's really interesting is that what we really talked about with Yuma this year is that some things about extra elements is that first, we won the registration challenge this year. Is so when we talked with Amber is that we really thought about, well, what is like that little extra element that we could add? And so where Yuma is that we actually don't do our survivor dinner day of. And so we really wanted to think about something that we could do something special for their survivors during day of relay. And so we actually have this huge ginormous tent that a church donated a couple of years ago. And so they set up like this little selfie station with tables and chairs and just really made it a really nice and cool place for the survivors to chill and relax and take photos and print and just somewhere kind of mellow to still enjoy the experience, but also just somewhere to relax as well. I will say that Yuma is also, we're interesting where they're actually on a baseball stadium instead of like a traditional track and field. And the whole community is involved. And so different theme laps, different entertainment, there's live bands, there's constant entertainment going throughout the entire event. So live bands, gymnastics teams, there's more photos that you can see throughout it. And it just brings this constant energy throughout the event. And so where fun tips is that with like the gymnastics and the bands and everything, this also brings a lot of a new audience to your relay as well. Like it's parents, it's the bands people. So if you're struggling with also getting attendance, having even your entertainment can also bring in the people as well. And so when I attended this in person last year, even with the gymnastics team, I saw just like 100 parents just flying in just for like that performance, and it made it feel really, really full. And also is just with like the speakers is that Yuma typically has 3 speakers, and so they have a caregiver speaker. They typically have a speaker of someone who's going through treatment. And so in the top left corner, that is Jackie. And so she is currently going through treatment. And so it's just a really heart-wrenching story of what she's currently going through, and just very, very uplifting. And then there's Richie on the right hand, who is now who spoke right before the Gold Together Lab. And he is now and he's also cancer-free. And so it just provides a different perspective on both. And then also our caregiver in the bottom left corner. And it's a party the whole time. And she just does a really good job of just making sure that there's just constant activity. It used to be an overnight prior to COVID, and they're definitely wanting to get back to that. It's 12 hours right now. And yeah, I think that's all I have right now. So
I love all the pictures. I think that just shows how much fun it was, and that events don't have to be 24 hours, even before COVID or after COVID, do what works in your community.
Yeah, I'd say they're a great community, as where they're just very much, they love Relay for Life, and they fully get into that. Like the ELT does posts, like they'll go around and they'll put posters all throughout the community prior to Relay. They'll reach out to their media stations. They hit Relay hard, and they'll reach out to anyone who's anyone to get people to attend. And so
it shows.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That looks like another fun event.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, now we have Jen Brown, I cannot talk tonight, from the Relay for Life of East Valley, Arizona. You might be on mute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I hit
That's
something
okay.
on my phone and it decided to want me to draw on my screen. I could not unmute. I'm like, I don't want to draw, I want to unmute. And sorry, I'm in my car, so I'm not able to go on camera, but I think Roxanne possibly has some pictures that she might be able to put up while I'm talking as well. So, excuse me, I'm, as you said, with the East Valley Relay. I kind of focus a lot of my talking points on just, I would say, more engagement on keeping people coming back. So some of the things that we try to do is, obviously everybody wants a large ELT. I actually had 20 members on my ELT this year, which is more than I've ever had in the last 15 years. So that was amazing. And they didn't all show up throughout, but they all showed up at the event. So that was great. But, you also have your teams that might not want to bite the bullet and join the ELT. but they still want to have a say in what they get to experience at Relay. So we try to really, at our team captain meetings, we actually call them team rallies, so that we try to get more than just the team captains there. But we, we'll do surveys as to the different, with our theme, the music, like what kind of music, what's your favorite song for, like last year we had decades. So we did, give us your favorite song of the 60s, 70s, 80s. This year our theme was more Disney, so it was kind of easier to know music. But when we talked at our team rallies, we would, talk about our different ideas for entertainment and ask them what they wanted to see, or, we listened and we tried to make it so that they would feel like what they wanted was still incorporated into the event. Because if they get activities planned that they're interested in, it's going to make it more exciting and more appealing for them to invite other people, because they'll have exciting things to talk about. So that's just one thing for our meetings, is just really trying to engage the teams and getting their feedback for us to help with the planning. And then I think it was Kristen talked about this as well, but I think it's really important to get to know your team captains, your survivors, and even your sponsors, so that when you see them, you can greet them by name. Because I think we all, if you're walking by and somebody says your name, you just I think it brings a smile to your face, because you're not just another person. You're somebody that you mean something to somebody. So I think that's important. And then like shouting out, when a new team joins, we do shout outs on Facebook. And I think a lot of teams actually do this just from the relays that I follow, but I think it's important to shout out your new teams, shout out your participants when they reach those different fundraising levels. Again, it just shows that we are noticing them and they're not just another person. One of the things we did at our event this year, I mean, we've done it others, but is we made sure that the teams that had fundraising at their campsites, the DJ would announce their team and what their campsite fundraiser was and where they're located, so that it drives some traffic to their campsite so that everybody can be successful. And then this year it was a Disney theme, so we kind of tried to make it more family oriented. So we had like face painting, we had princesses come, we did Disney trivia, we had a dunk tank, and then we also had we had dance teams, karate presentations, a massage group came and did chair massages. So just those different activities to get all ages involved. The one thing we changed this year for our survivor area, or just our survivor lap actually, is our survivor area where they meet is near the entrance of the track, so that they, somebody else had said, they don't have as far to go. But that's also the opposite side of where our event starts, where the stage is at. So generally that means they have to walk almost a half a lap to get to the starting in order to start the survivor lap. So, and as we're in Arizona and our event is, this year it was in March, it's usually March or April. It's hot because we started at 3 this year, but the sun's out, it's warm, not something great for any of us really. But we decided, let's let the survivors sit in their area under the tents and where there's chairs and they can relax. And we went to them to start their survivor lap. We just had the big arch and they came out from under that, and that's where the celebration for them started. So it made them feel, we didn't make them walk that extra half a lap and then have to walk back when they were done, or maybe not even be able to finish. We also had golf carts available for people that weren't able to walk the survivor lap, but that way they still got to participate. We gave them or the Mickey ears, and we did fun little necklaces and different things to get them in the Disney spirit and theme before they walked. And then we gave the teams bubbles and the noisemakers and stuff, just to give them an extra extra noise to cheer them on as they did their lap. We also had our survivors judge a best campsite, team banner, and team spirit awards. And then we announced it later in the evening, but the survivors were the ones that got to judge that. So again, it, it got the survivors involved, a little bit, because they're not always out there able to do all the different activities. So we had something that they could do. We also provided restrooms right beside the survivor area specifically for the survivors. So again, not having to walk a distance. So just making it feasible for them. The other couple other things is our Luminaria. One thing we did different this year is we had, for those that purchased online, we had a group of art students have basically a Luminaria decorating party, but they decorated the Luminaria bags to match our theme. So we had a lot of Disney type bags, and we got a lot of compliments about how unique the bags were this year and how it was so much different and everything. So, just an idea for those that are decorating, bags for people. You can, if there's ways to incorporate your theme into it, to bring that into it, it's a very unique and different idea. I think the last thing that somebody else already talked about signage, so I'm not gonna, I agree with everything they said on signage. It's very important. The last one is, for me, I think a big thing is your volunteers. I just encourage, to make sure you're getting a lot of volunteers aside from your ELT for the event, so that your ELT can also enjoy the event. I know last year my event we had 7 of us on the ELT. So that was the biggest complaint with our ELT last year, was we didn't get to enjoy the event at all. This year there was 20 of us, so a lot more hands on deck, but we also had a lot of volunteers. So everybody was able to enjoy it. Also, make sure you have assignments for your volunteers, especially ones that are coming in outside, that you're reaching out to different volunteer groups or whatever, so that because they're coming because they want to volunteer out of the goodness of their heart. So they want to have a purpose. And if they show up and it's disorganized and, I don't know what you need to do, what we need help with, and they're just kind of standing around, they're not going to want to come back, because that's not what they came for. They came to help out. So I think, just having a specific person or purpose and duty for them is going to make them have that reward. And I mean, we had 2 or 3 that we had something for them to do. They were scheduled for 2 hours. They ended up staying for 7 and said they'll be back next year, because it was engaging and there was, something for them to do. But the same thing goes for your ELT, make sure you're organized. And I can't say it enough, and somebody else already said it too, but thank again to your volunteers, your team captains, your speakers, everybody, because every one of us is giving our personal time for this cause. And I'm pretty sure every one of us, even the volunteers, there's a reason they're doing it. So we want to make sure we're thanking them so that they can, they'll come back and make it worthwhile for them. I think I hit all my points.
Good job.
Oh,
you got
sorry.
a compliment on your schedule.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
So I did have one other thing. It kind of goes with volunteering, but it was just for long. So this year we kind of combated, we ended up having our event right at the beginning of spring break. A lot of our schools are a 2-week, they're year round. And the school that we had our event at, unfortunately, only was able to give me 2 dates. And it was the first week of spring break or right in the middle. So we chose the first week, but we were really worried about losing people, which we did. But we have some longstanding teams that are always there. Well, because of spring break, they weren't able to come this year. So we made sure to find something that they could do to help, because they still wanted to be part of it. Besides like raising money, but then they wanted to be part of it. So we reached out to them, and one of the schools was able to make our caregiver and survivor goodie bags, and they made cards for them. And then the other, like I said, we had them decorating the Luminaria bags. So even if you have teams that you know are usually involved, but they're not signing up, whatever, like reach out to them and see, is there a reason, is it a conflict or not? And then again, like see if there's something that they can do to help and still be part of Relay. Because if they're a long-standing team, generally they don't just drop off because they no longer want to do it. There's usually a reason that they're not able to be there. So
I love that. That is great. I also really love your cleanup lap, because that seems to be a big problem, where you actually tell everybody to grab a garbage bag and help clean up. I love that.
Yes, our event ended at like 10:15 and we were done and out of there at 11.
Nice.
So we set up in an hour and a half, because we also used baseball teams for volunteers. They came out and set up everything. So again, volunteers are great.
Yeah, sounds like another fun event.
So.
All right, now we have Jackie Somerville and Becky Kinney from Southern Nevada.
Hello, friends. We are Jackie and Becky, or I am Becky, and we are Becky and Jackie. We are first-time co-leads for Southern Nevada together this year, although we have both been leads in our previous states that we lived in. We were on the committee in the past. At the end of last year, the committee lead or the co-leads were stepping down, and we stepped up. So we are super excited. And first thing we did after high-fiving each other and said, let's find a location, kind of like the rest of you all said, you can't have Relay without a location. Unfortunately, last year, about 2 weeks before our event, the location that was set was no longer available, and we scrambled and still held an amazing relay, but we didn't want that to happen this year. So luckily, we found an amazing school that we are going to have our event at this year. They are hosting our event. They're also hosting our kickoff, which is in 2 days. So our kickoff is on Saturday, and it's being held at the school, the Alexander Dawson School, which is a preschool through 8th grade. And when we approached the head of school, after we talked about the logistics and figured out if it was actually going to be feasible for them to do it, like logistically with parking and everything. And as soon as she committed, she totally committed. She's like, tell us what you need. We have, because we're doing it on their football field, it's perfect. We have their, the bathrooms, we have security, we have maintenance people, we have basically whatever we want and need. So as you can tell from our fun flyer, our theme this year, we vote at the relay, at the end of the relay each year, what our theme's going to be the next year. And when we voted last year, it was decided that our theme was going to be Carnival. And there was conversation back and forth. Is it Carnival or is it Carnival? So we just kind of decided whatever you want. So we're going to have some people with the Carnival theme and some people with more of like the Mardi Gras type Carnival theme. So it'll be super fun. We have our kickoff coming up on Saturday, like I said, and we, just like everybody's kickoff, it's going to be a celebration of what's coming, what to expect at a relay. There's a lot of people that relay who've been doing it for 20 years. So we want to let them know what's new, what's different, what's fun. And of course, there's a lot of people coming to kickoff who have never even heard of relay, but they want to come learn more about it. So our goal is to inspire and educate and have a lot of fun at our kickoff. One thing we are doing different this year, our survivor experience, our survivor celebration, survivor dinner, everybody has a different name for it. We had talked about a lot of times when that happens, the survivors actually miss out on some of the other things that are happening at the same time. So our event is on Saturday, September 23rd from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, but we're hosting our survivor experience at 12:30. So it will be before relay actually starts. So our survivor experience is going to be in the dining hall of the school, and it's going to be first class food, first class experience, first class entertainment. They are going to get the full red carpet, the survivors and their caregivers. When they're finished with their meal and their entertainment, they will move from the dining hall up to the football field. For any of our survivors who are mobile challenged, we have golf carts where we will take them from the dining hall to the football field. Our school cheerleaders and some of the other local cheerleaders will be in front of them, cheering them on as they come up to the field. And then when they get there, all the participants will be there. So they'll be there ready to welcome the survivors, cheer them on. And at that point, it gets quiet. It gets quiet, and we are going to have what we are calling, and this something else we're doing first time this year, we have a designated survivor who is going to be our lone walker. So the lone walker is going to walk the first lap silently, alone, and that will be in honor of all the survivors who were unable to make it this year. For whatever reason, they couldn't come, so that lone survivor is walking for them. And then survivors will join in behind, and then just like years in the past, we have our caregiver lap. After that, the carnival begins, all the fun, everything that you can expect at a typical relay, except for more carnival style. So in the middle of the field, we'll have our big circus themed bounce house, lots of carnival activities for the kids. Our entertainment stage is gonna have singers. We have a local ventriloquist. This is Vegas, so we're going big. We're going big, we're going flashy as we can. And let's see, what else is fun, new, different? Let me think. I think we're just really lucky here because when Jackie and I did take on the role of co-leads, we joined a group of very passionate ELT who are committed to the core. So our survivor group of people know how to treat our survivors like the heroes that they are. So Jackie and I are like, you guys do your thing, and we know our survivors are going to be pampered from the day they sign up as participants all the way through. We also have team ambassadors we have 3 people who are in constant contact with our team captains. So they call, text, they're available for questions. We're super excited because this Saturday at our kickoff, it's our first chance to meet a lot of these people face to face. So we'll have a room full of people ready to meet and greet each other. And let's see what else. I took a bunch of notes, but we're super, our brains have been focused on kickoff for our kickoff this Saturday, and we're excited. Anything else, Jackie? What else am I missing?
Well, you pretty much covered everything. Becky and I have decided that this year our word of the relay is epic.
Epic.
So everything we're doing is going to be epic, from the survivor kickoff to the 8 o'clock final ceremony at relay and everything in between. And I'm just going to give a shout out to our ACF staff partner because she has been amazing. Thank you, Sharon.
Love you, Sharon. Yeah, and that's another thing with the school, when they bought on, they said basically whatever you need, you let us know. So we've been really lucky to have from, for example, our health and fitness teacher, he's available to partner up with an ELT member to work on activities. We have at the school, the cheerleader coach, same thing. Anybody on the school, when they reached out and they were like, okay, what can I do? How can I help? And we're finding lots of roles for people and people who never even knew what Relay was. So we've had the opportunity to talk at the PTA meetings. Because I mean, a lot of you guys probably have had the same thing. People hear Relay for Life and they don't know what it is and they don't even ask because they just think they have to come and run. And it's like last year when I was doing it, everybody was like, oh, I totally would have come, but I'm not a runner. No,
Yep.
there's no running unless you really need to.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, I hate to cut you off, but we have one more speaker. So
No.
your ideas are, I can't wait to hear about your epic event and we want to see pictures.
Epic for sure.
Yes, we're so excited.
Thank
All
you,
right, now
Becky
we
and
have-
Jackie.
Yes, thank you both. Now we have Selena, who's going to talk about Relay for Life of Vermilion Parish. Are you there, Selena? You might be on mute. Can you hear us, Selena? I'm texting her. Hopefully she can get on. All right, looks like we're going to move on to what extra elements you have at your relay. Do we have time for people to talk or are we pretty much wrapping
We
it up?
do. Either if anybody wants to share an idea that they use at their event in the chat, or if they want to come off mute and tell people about it, we'd love to hear what extra things you have at your relay that make it so special for your participants.
We have one here that we do for our survivors. At the end, when the survivors take their lap, at the end of the lap, they are greeted with local police officers and firefighters. We call it our hero to hero medaling, and our police officers and firefighters then present our survivors with their medals, with their survivor medals. And it's, we've done it for several years, and every year at the beginning, I say, okay, to the leadership team, I said, do you guys still want to do this? And everyone is so moved by that we just keep doing it. And the police and the firefighters, every year when I write to them, they give us the date, I write to them, I give the date. Yes, we are honored to be there. It's become such a neat tradition that everybody really loves. That's it.
Well, I have one I'll share real quick. Was somebody else talking? Or am I echoing? I'm echoing. Okay. Sorry about that. I wanted to share one that some of my college campuses do to make their Luminaria ceremony a little bit more special. We ordered the glow bracelets from our relay vendor that we get the glow sticks from. And instead of like handing everybody a glow stick to crack during the ceremony and then just carry around a glow stick for the rest of the night, we get the bracelet so that people, and then we do one of two things with them. People can either crack the bracelet and then wear it for the rest of the night after Luminaria, or I've had a couple of events too that actually bought all of the different colors of bracelets and they had a color code. So like if you had lost a parent to cancer, you grabbed a blue color bracelet. If you had lost a grandparent or a friend, like we split it into categories essentially so that people could see like what bracelet color other people had on and see who else had like lost a sibling or a parent or something like that, to make that deeper connection during that Luminaria ceremony and making it more special that way.
Well,
Lena,
last
are you
year
there?
we started with bricks and we call it our Hope Garden. And so we paint bricks and rocks for our survivors or in memory of. We paint bricks and then we put them in our Hope Garden.
Hi guys, it's Selena. Sorry, I was having technical difficulties. I had to use my phone here. Quick, I'm gonna go real quick. Couple of things we do that wows our participants. We had our high school band come out and lead the Survivor Lap. The entire band, 250 students showed up. It was a wow factor. The survivors were in awe. Also twofold, all the students brought their friends, so it actually increased our participants at our relay. And also we did we also sold lanterns and along with our luminaries. We sold them for $100, and what we did was if you purchased a lantern, we allowed you to part of purchasing the lantern, you got a special personalized lap where you were able to pick the song that you wanted to walk the lap, and we let each family hold their lantern, and we made a personalized sign in memory or in honor, and they walked to the special song, either the survivor or the in memory of the person's special song. It was very, very touching. And then we also do a brick ceremony for our caregivers and survivors, where when they register, we ask them to tell us their caregiver's name, and we painted purple bricks and personalized the bricks, and then did a ceremony for our caregiver ceremony, and then presented them with the bricks. And we've actually been asked to do that again multiple times. So again, I'm sorry I wrapped up, had an issue with my phone.
Selena, what kind of a lantern are you talking about?
We actually order them on Amazon. I can
So
it's an outdoor lantern.
a handheld lantern?
It's called an outdoor lantern, but it comes with like a tea light candle.
Oh,
We
okay.
really make good profit on it too. And we light them all, and we line them up with our luminaries, and then we call out the person's name, and we present them with the lantern, and then they walk. It was
That sounds amazing. I like that.
yeah.
I like that. Well, I'm glad you were able to come off mute.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So what are we doing? We're a little bit over time. Are we gonna put stuff up to the next one, or? Trisha, I'm glad you're getting good ideas for your first year. Are you on our Facebook page? Do you know, are you in our Facebook group? All right, we'll have to make sure that we get you in there, because people share ideas in there all the time too.
I would say if no one else has anything left to share, thank you everybody for hopping on tonight. If you're not in our Facebook group, I just put the link in the chat. Please feel free to join. And unfortunately, I can't add people to the Facebook group. You actually have to come and find us, and then I will add you to the Facebook group. But thank you everyone for joining tonight, for sharing ideas. Hopefully people got something out of it. We'll be posting the recording to our Let's Talk landing page, and we'll post in the Facebook group that when it is uploaded and ready to go. And otherwise, save the date for the 3rd Thursday of May. I believe that is my calendar's not in front of me. May 18th will be our next call, topic to be determined. But yeah, thank you everybody for getting on tonight.
Yes, it is a great idea. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody. Good night.
Bye-bye.